Hey guys! Hey guys! Today I just wanted to have a little casual, low-key plant care like hangout where I do some little plant maintenance-y things and maybe you do as well. I have my glug 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 and my beverage here to enjoy as we do these planty tasks. I've got to wipe a butt. I'll be right back. Back to the plants, a few things I'm gonna do today. I have this well-fin sansevieria that for a second I was thinking I didn't like. I just think I need to separate, like cut it up and separate the fins, the leaves. I also want to repot my really wonky pilea peperomoides and the propagations I've taken from this plant. I want to pot them together. I have this Mipa's Pots and Plants UFO planter. I don't love the plant I have potted in it right now. Originally I really liked it. I'll talk more about that like when we get to that, but
I need that top with this, not like this. Can I have an apple? Mom. You were cheating.
I was tricking you.
Oh, it's just fine.
Where was I? Along with those little apple cleaning butt wiping responsibilities that come with kids, like I need to provide as clean and healthy environment as possible so that they can stay clean and healthy. Huge thank you to Blueland, the sponsor of today's video, for helping me to do that. Did you know we ourselves are ingesting around a credit card's worth of microplastics per week? Switching out those little detergent pods wrapped in plastic that we put into our dishwasher is a really easy way to help reduce that amount. All you have to do is place one tablet directly into the main dishwasher dispenser and run your dishwasher. Easy as that. Blueland uses no single-use plastic in any of their components. Plus they're hypoallergenic and sourced from vegan and non-GMO ingredients. They are people and planet friendly. Absolutely my favorite Blueland product is their foaming hand soap. Look at how soft and silky that freaking soap is. I know that with the holidays coming up, we're all kind of starting to get into that gift giving mindset, and truly you guys, I think Blueland is like the most wonderful gift you could give to family, friends, teachers, neighbors. Right now Blueland is offering their holiday hand soap gift set. It has a year's worth of hand soap, each with a unique scent, which is so fun. Me personally, I will be giving a set to each of Kai's teachers at his preschool. He just loves them, and I thought it was kind of a unique gift that they'll actually get use out of. Plus it's planet friendly. I love that. I love that! I really cannot think of a downside to switching to Blueland. Their products are effective, they smell good, super easy to use and store. If you'd like 15% off your first kit, all you have to do is follow my link down in the description box or scan the QR code here to take advantage of that. Why not get 15% off while trying a new product that is so good? It's so good! Huge thank you to Blueland. I'm sure you guys are ready to get back into our plant hangout, so let's do it. First up, sansevieria. I'm sure you can see just how awkward this plant is. For some reason, this side of the plant here just like hangs out sideways, so I don't have a really good spot for it, but I think that's happening because it's thrown a new leaf here and there's also a new baby coming here. So I just think it's like pushing itself out of the pot a little bit. And I really want to fix that. I just want to like chop it up and pot them all back together in something not terracotta. So let me go find something not terracotta to pot this in. This is the hardest part of the whole process. I guess I'm just gonna jump right into it. Oh, that is pretty well rooted. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's really good to see. I was kind of worried. I don't know why I was worried about this, but I was worried about this one. Wow. Do you see how chunky that is? Wow. Okay, I'm gonna remove a bunch of dirt off this so we can enjoy these roots a little bit better up close. This root ball. Sansevieria are so cool how they form the little babies. It's so weird because for a long time, since like the beginning of my plant journey, I've been mostly into like tropical, leafy, like vining kind of plants, which I still do really like those, but I've come to appreciate sansevieria a lot more in recent years, I think, because they are just so much more low maintenance, because I feel like they really do just fit my home environment a lot better. I'm not trying to fight against the environment for them, you know what I'm saying? Like with a lot of the tropical plants that need higher humidity or more water or more light, like don't get me wrong, sansevieria also really like light, but it's not as much of a race against the clock for me for them to not die, you know what I'm saying? Because they are so tolerant and they die so slowly. I can stick a Sansevieria in a super low light spot, and no, it's not going to like grow amazingly, but it's also not just going to die like from one day to the next. You know how a lot of like philodendron might, or syngonium might. As much as I do love those plants. Okay, I've removed as much of the soil as I can, and look at how weird this is. Oh my gosh. This is the root ball. This is the main plant like section I started with when I got the plant. It popped this leaf out last year, and look, it just like forms these big potato looking, I think they're called rhizomes, I'm not entirely sure, but to grow new babies. That is so crazy. Oh, I love it. I am glad I'm deciding to keep this. This is fun. I love this. I don't worry about this. Where's my nippers? Found them. I'm gonna just wipe them off. I guess I'm just gonna cut them in between each little plant section so that I can situate them a little better inside the pot. I don't know if this is gonna be okay for the plant. I assume it's going to be. Oh, but I am worried just because I've never done this before. Oh gosh, that was extremely similar to cutting into a potato. So that was actually really satisfying. I don't think I'm gonna cut this one up because it looks like it's gonna grow straight up anyway, and I wouldn't even cut this up other than this one was growing like sideways, but I am just going to leave it. I don't want to press my luck. I will, however, this is not something I've ever tried before, but I hear about it so often, using ground cinnamon on cut ends like this. I'm gonna put some ground cinnamon onto the cut ends. Supposedly this is like is it bacterial, antifungal? Supposedly. I've never tried it myself, but I think this is the perfect opportunity because these cut ends are so thick. I do really worry about little weird things getting into this cut end. So I am just going to, that was a lot. Maybe I'll just try and spread the love here. I don't know. It smells good. I don't know. Have you guys tried the cinnamon hack? Like, does it work? I like kind of don't know how you even can tell if it works, but I'm just doing it as kind of a preventative. If it does something, great. If not, at least I tried something. Again, where those cut ends are so thick, I am going to let those cut ends dry out a little bit where they are so thick, just for further prevention. I am not trying to mess this plant up. I will prepare my next task while we wait. I think I like the white one more. I'm kind of shocked. I went into this thinking I totally was going to use this one. I'm going to pot it into this planter, this beautiful planter, which I love. Let me go grab the base of it. I actually used the saucer for this planter for Mama Pilea peperomoides. It worked out perfectly. I thought it was really cute on my shelf, but I am also going to be repotting this today. So that leaves this open for me to use finally. Just gonna quickly scrub these off while I wait for this to callus. I do. I really love this planter. The only thing is it gets miscolored really easily. And if it bumps into anything, the color seems to transfer. It's a little frustrating. Maybe I need to do a clear coat on this. I should really do it right now, but I just don't have it, and this is already unpotted. So we're just gonna roll with it and whatever. If it looks messy, I kind of don't care. Well, I don't. Why? I don't. Here is the planter. I think this is going to be really cute. Something I'm realizing is I really like tall plants with little shallow kind of like stout planters. I don't know, I think they make a cool statement. My only worry is that this is definitely going to be kind of top heavy, but I've got some rocks here off to the side to put on top to hopefully help. So I guess it's just like comes down to how I want to situate these in here. And I guess this is like kind of my only option. I guess we're just gonna roll with that. I am going to add a layer of my stuff, my potting mix, that's the word. Like that. How does it look? What do you guys think? I don't know what I think. My problem when it comes to repotting and stuff is it takes a really long time for me to look at whatever I've potted from a lot of different angles, a lot of different mindsets to like really decide if I like a plant and its planter. Usually by the time I know if I like the plant and its planter or not, it's like time to repot that plant. So I need to start root trimming, I think, instead of like up potting, because oh my gosh, something that I never ever in a million years thought would be an issue for me because I love big plants is my plants getting big. As plants get bigger and bigger, I'm like, oh crap, I don't have planters for all these things. And then as you need bigger and bigger planters, they also cost more and more cheddar. So it's just, I'm now like, oh crap, what am I gonna do to fix this problem? It's not a problem, obviously it's a good thing for plants to get big, but in my head, it kind of feels like a problem sometimes. Can't squeeze that 12-inch, 16-inch planter into the budget. So yeah, moral of that story, I think I need to start root trimming. If any of you guys root trim, like I would love to hear what your process is. That's something I'm kind of getting a little aware of, that in the springtime I'm probably gonna have to do that, especially for my really big Dracaena. It is already in a 16-inch planter, but it's gonna have to be either repotted or root trimmed in the spring. And I am really, really nervous for both of those things. We'll see come springtime what I decide. And I would love your opinion. I would love your helpful opinions, tips, and tricks. That plant has lived in that planter for 8 years or something like that. So, I've got it all potted into here. I've just got to kind of like shimmy it. I have a whole bunch of these little river rocks over here to help hold everything together until there's a little bit of root growth. I don't want anything to tip over, and it is definitely at risk for tipping over because it is so top heavy in such a shallow planter. But I mean, once the roots start to grow in its new home, then like it'll be fine. But for the time being, that actually doesn't look that bad though. What do you think? What do you think? So much more stable, so much more stable. And I'm gonna go put it in its spot. To live on this little table here. It'll get pretty decent sunlight from not just the windows, but also there's a grow light up here. So I don't know, for right now, this is just where I'm gonna put it. It'll probably end up moving. I'll definitely update you on that on my next plant my next plant home walkthrough. So yeah, we'll see how this all ends up. This is my rickrack cactus, and I have it potted in this UFO planter. It just is not happy in here. I'm not happy with it in here. I hate to say it, but if a plant doesn't look good, I have a really hard time like wanting to maintain it. So I think I just really need to get this moved out of here, find something else for this, and get this repotted. This is not the spot for this plant. As cool as it looked and as excited as I was when I potted this in here, it just isn't working. It just isn't working. So let's go handle this situation. The thing is, I love this UFO planter. I really, really do. I think it looks cool. It's like really unique and a fun way just to like switch it up a little bit, you know, like for hanging plants, I feel like there's not a lot of ways to like spruce them up or add variety in like the display features of a hanging plant. But this really, so this thing is pokey, so I've got to be really careful. It doesn't look prickly, but if you look very, very closely on each of these little ledges, there is a cluster of pokies, which is a big reason I found myself never wanting to take this down to water it. I've always been so nervous that those little pokies, as I'm like moving it to water it, like that those pokies were gonna fall off everywhere. So that is a huge reason why I don't think this was a very good match. As much as I loved the look of it, not a good match. I've severely underwatered this plant. I'm excited to get it in a more loving situation, honestly. Let's just set this here. The thing about this planter is I do have a little bit of a hard time potting into it because you gotta like kind of like hang it and pot it at the same time. So it's like, I don't have enough hands for that, but you know what? Today is the day. I actually bought this planter because I saw it in one of Benji's videos in one of his early plant tours, and I loved the Hoya linearis he had potted in it. But I am 100% going to copy him and put a Hoya linearis into this planter. This is actually a linearis I've been propagating specifically for this purpose, but as you can see, it is still a very immature plant. It doesn't have a lot of hanging pieces to really work with. I'm going to just try and remove these ones that do have some stem growth. Yeah, I don't know. I like got to be really careful about this because they are very, oh shit. As I said that, I just pulled off a whole bunch of roots. I need to just pull this whole thing out. Otherwise, I'm going to end up pulling all of the roots off. Like this piece, yeah, no root because I just destroyed them. I'm going to pull off just a little bit of this, whatever comes off easily. I'm going to remove of the sphagnum moss. Look, see, and now I'll be able to pull off some vines with roots in the sphagnum instead of doing this garbage that I'm so good at doing. I'm so good at ripping apart plants and being a little too aggressive, but I love them, but maybe it's just like cute aggression. And then when I feel like there's roots, I'm just gonna try and pull them out as gently as possible. And remove as much sphagnum moss as possible because all of my little cuts do need to fit into this hole. Come on, little roots. Come on. Yes, there we go. This is kind of a fun little tinkery thing, and I love tinkery plant chores, like ones I can really focus in and not think. And I'm also trying to stay focused so I don't rip this to shreds. What are you doing? What are you doing? Right there. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that long one. Bismarck's gonna really quick boss me around by throwing his bowl all over the place because even though there is food in it, it is not filled up enough. But I'm like, finish the food you already have. But he's like, no. Now I've got to put my propagations back in here. What is your favorite plant chore? Like what plant chore do you look forward to the most? For me, it is the little tinkery things. Sometimes my favorite chore, like when I have the time for it, is when I use my little cup to water my plants like individually like that. I don't know why. That is so freaking cathartic for my brain. I love that. I look forward to that. I don't do that as often anymore. There's just like not enough time between all of the responsibilities in a day, but when I get to do that, it is so, it like scratches my brain and my spine in the best way. Truly. Truly. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna gather all of my little cuts This is gonna be so cute. I am so excited because like I said, like I bought this planter because I thought Benji's was so beautiful, and like why didn't I just copy him from the beginning? Why didn't I? I don't know. I just felt like I had to be original, but I don't. This is so much better. Rookie move, honestly, on my part. Now that everything is gathered all together, here's the scary part. I'm gonna try and squeeze it through this hole without hurting anybody. Here we are, you can see they are all pushed through here, and now I use some of this moss, just fill it in. Oh, I hope everything stays in place. I tried to like pack the moss so it was holding all of this in place, but I don't want to let go until I water it because I don't want everything to come falling out. Here's my kitchen sink, which does have some dishes in it. I am not using my kid free time to do the dishes. Sorry. No, I know, none of you care. You guys don't care. I'm gonna gently water it in. Try to get everything really wetted. Hopefully once it's all wet, then it'll like compact itself a little bit, kind of fill in around the plants and hold them in place, ideally. Oh my gosh. Ah! Well, but now the problem is it's dripping and I can't move it anywhere. Otherwise it'll drip all over my house. But I also don't have anything to hang it on right here. What do I have that I can like put under it? A plate? Good thing I have all these dirty dishes in the sink. Let's move to the bathroom and let's see. Maybe I'll get a towel for it to drip on. Yeah, I'll just use this towel for it to drip on for now. Perfect. Okay, and I am gonna hang it up. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. That feels so good. That's just like a tiny little thing that every time I walked in here, I was like, I need to take care of that. But I just put it off and put it off for no good reason. Anyway, this bathroom gets pretty decent. Ugh. What do you think? That is so tiny compared to the other plant. It's kind of funny. Hold still. See? Imagine a really long linearis hanging out of that. I'm hoping 6 months before it really starts to hang and look the type of way I'm really hoping for, but I feel really happy about that. I'm excited to take care of this, honestly, and I think that that is exactly what needed to happen. So that's good. Final answer, this plant is going to live here for now. I've kind of moved it around all over the place a bunch of times, and this is it. This is it. I'm indecisive. It is so hard. There are a couple things with plant care that I'm always like going back and forth on. One, picking a planter for the plant. That's like too big of a commitment. The other thing I have a hard time with is picking a spot. It's hard. We'll get into this in a sec. First, of course, need to get this rickrack cactus potted up. I'm gonna put this one into this ceramic planter. My mother-in-law got this for me last year, and I just haven't had the right plant for it, but I think this will look really cute in here. I'm gonna backfill this a little bit. And I do want it to sit a little bit lower in the planter just because this is going to be very top heavy. This probably seems kind of weird, but where this plant has such a small root system and this planter is a little bit tall, I'm going to start out by potting it lower down in the planter. I don't want to fill this whole thing up with soil and then have this like just sitting at the top. Otherwise it'll topple over. I'm going to use some of these river stones to hold it in place. So yeah, like it doesn't topple over. Just a little trick to keep everything in position. There is no drainage hole, so I don't have to worry about having a saucer, and I am going to add a little bit of water to this really quick. So now to find a spot for it. Where should I put it? You know what? This is going to live downstairs in my plant room for the time being. Down here with a bunch of healthy plants to contrast in the background, you can see just how pale and kind of yellow this has become. I think that paints a better picture of the state of this plant. Definitely like needed a change. So hopefully this will do that. Initially, my plan for this video was to do more like walk around plant care, but once I had my potting supplies out, I guess this is just where my heart wanted to be, repotting. So I have this little cutie potted up into a planter I made a couple of years ago, and it is so top heavy. Look at how easily it knocks over. So I've had it sitting in this thing to help hold it upright, and I'm like, why don't I just take this plant out of here and pot it into this thing? Then I don't even have to worry about all of that nonsense. I really liked this plant in here when the plant was really tiny, but of course, plants grow. These roots are so dried out. My poor plants, I swear I do my best. I swear I'm doing my best. And sometimes I feel like I have it all under control, and then I go to repot things and then I'm like, oh crap, I actually have none of this under control. It keeps me busy, I guess, so that's a good thing. I just watered the Sansevieria. Well, really I just wetted like the top of the substrate, and I'm going to let this sit for a little bit back on my plant shelf, and then in a couple of days when I go around and water all of my plants, I will give this a more thorough watering. This is a little baking dish I thrifted. There's no drainage hole, which I know is kind of a succulent plant like cardinal sin. I'm wondering if any of you guys also like to pot into no drainage planters, or if you are strictly like the more drainage the better. I'm very interested to hear where we are all at in that like mindset, in those mindsets. So I'm gonna put this back on my shelf. Just right here. Cute. Just getting a little bit messy over here. The thing is, I never in a million years would have thought to buy a potting mat. Like, I think it's something that when I've seen people using them, I'm like, oh, like, that's kind of cool, but is it one of those like gimmicky? But honestly, this potting mat has come in so handy. If you've been considering getting a potting mat, like 100%, I think it's something that is worth spending money on. I really do. It's a lot more cleanly. It really is. I'm so thankful that this was sent to me, because truly, it's so worth it. It used to be a disaster in here after I repotted, and now like it's a little messy, but nothing crazy. So that was kind of a tangent. On to my last plant task of the day. I have a health screening in 45 minutes. So I gotta hurry. Repot my pilea peperomioides, my very weird pilea peperomioides, and then also the propagations that I've taken from it. So I just want to pot them up together. I was trying to find a planter I could put these into that was a little bit bigger, but I do not have, like, I am so severely low on planters, especially anything larger than like 6 inch. And I am a little nervous to do this because this plant is kind of weird. If you've been watching for a while, this is the one that I dropped, and that is why it looks the way it does. Oh, the roots aren't even as bad as I thought. No, these roots are not even bad. Why does this plant not have more roots? Did I accidentally rot it? Shoot. You guys, oh no. Oh no. You know what it was? In my brain, I was like, oh, this planter's pretty tall. I bet like the top is really dry and the bottom is staying a little bit more damp, sitting in a saucer, you know? And then I probably, yeah, I can see my thought process. I keep pulling off little dried up looking roots like this that are just so soft. Like that is a root, but it's so soft. Dang it, I need to cut back on the watering of this one for sure. So this is a good thing. This is a good thing. Oh yeah, look at that big root that just fell off because it's rotted. That's bad. Bad, bad, bad. Okay, it's fine though. It's fine. It is going to love its new life. Don't do this, but I am just going to even though there's a bunch of dead roots in here, mix all of this substrate with my substrate I have in here so that I have enough to fill it in. And also, this only has perlite in it, which maybe is a reason I'm overwatering it, because I've started using a way chunkier potting mix, like way chunkier. And I've been treating this plant the same way as I've been treating all of my plants in the new substrate, which I do is a substrate that is very hard to rot plants with. So I think I've become a bit of an overwaterer for regular potting mixes, but for my potting mixes, it's like the perfect amount of watering you get. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm wording it quite right, but my little bear is kind of stealing the show here, but this is the old potting mix that I'm taking it out of. This is the new potting mix. Much chunkier, much more airy. This like compacts more. So, I mean, of course it's wet, so it compacts better anyway, but this does not compact the same way. It's very lightweight compared to this. Definitely helps prevent root rot. So I think that figuring out my potting mix and tailoring my potting mix to my own planting tendencies, instead of just like what I see online, like adding perlite to those pre-bag mixes, that can work for some people, but for me it just doesn't work. Okay, I'm gonna put some of this back in to the pot. Well, let me pull these out and see what these roots look like. These are just growing in sphagnum. Oh no, it is soil. I also rotted these guys. That is unfortunate. So sorry. Oh yeah, that is a completely dead one. How did I not notice that I was doing these plants so dirty? I swear, I did not notice. I thought these were so healthy, which they're not like terrible, but it's definitely to the point where if I had watered any more times, things would have started declining very rapidly, for sure. So these ones are quite tall. I'm gonna put these a lot further down in the pot so that they can kind of root out of here. Maybe they'll throw out some babies. Now I'm gonna fill it in a little more just so that these hold in place. Now I'm gonna put in my main plant and I'm gonna try and like, I don't know actually. I'm just gonna put it in here, try and find where, dang, I'm showing you guys, but I have bad vision and I can't see that far away to make sure that this looks the way I want it to. I really need glasses. This is so bad. They almost didn't give me my license last time because I need glasses. And don't get me wrong, I don't drive very much. Like only places I already know the speed limit and stuff, and like I can see pedestrians, but I can't see like speed signs and stuff. I am just trying to like shimmy and really hold everything into their new positions. I just like to try and situate them so that all of the leaves are kind of facing the general same direction. I think it makes the plant, the freshly potted plant, look a little nicer outright, where historically when I've repotted a plant and not considered that kind of thing, they look very awkward and weird. And then over time, as they grow in and kind of start to face like the same direction of the light source as each other, then they look better. But yeah, yeah. I'm gonna pull off a couple of these leaves that are broken anyway. Do you guys remember when this plant was like the it plant? Everybody and their dog wanted this thing and it was so hard to find, so hard to buy because everybody was buying them up like faster than they could be like produced, propagated, grown. That was a time. That was the best time. Those were the days, don't you think? It just doesn't feel the same anymore to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me and it's because I have kids that I focus on more, but back then it was just extra fun. I don't know. Okay, what do we think? I tried. At least it's in a better potting mix, right? And now, since I moved those propagations out of my goat and baby planter, I can use this as the saucer for this plant, which will be great. This is also going to live back on the same shelf just because I need it to get really excellent light right now. Later, I will move it to a new spot that I think it'll look really cool, but my Christmas tree is gonna go in that spot here soon in the next month. So It just needs to stay where it is for the time being. Okay, I feel so energized, rejuvenated, accomplished. I got so much done today. I hope you guys had a good time doing all these plant chores with me. If you also did your planty chores at the same time, I hope you got so much done. And I am so excited to see you back here next week on my next upload. If you have any video requests, please leave a comment. I would really appreciate it. I'm just kind of at a loss for what videos to make sometimes. So I am all ears, and I really appreciate you taking the time to leave those comments, and also for taking the time to hang out with me today. But that's going to be it for this one. I will see you next time. Bye!